Good morning. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. And depending when you're listening to this video, I hope you've had a good day or you will have a good day. Anyways, it is a cold day here. I mean, I shouldn't say cold. It's just really chilly. It's only in the 40s. And it's really damp out there and it's just kind of drizzly. And it's cloudy and overcast, and yeah, we're just kind of like set in this weather system of wet and cool and kind of, just blah days. But anyways, we have been working hard, even with the weather like this, to get things accomplished so that we can, when the weather permits, we can begin to get our planting done. And yeah, my plants are doing pretty good. I finally got the parsley and the chives to start to come up, and I didn't realize that they took 2 to 3 weeks of germination. I should have planted them a little sooner. Yeah, that's my fault. I don't usually chives come back every year, so I haven't had to plant chives for, I bet you, 10, 12 years because, they just come back, right? Well, yeah, everything got dug up and just ruined and, destroyed with this addition of the carport, so I don't have any now. Anyways, yeah, so I guess I don't know. I don't know how well. I might have to buy some already, chives that are growing because these are just barely out of the soil. I don't think they're going to be able to really yield a crop. Let's put it that way. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to take you quickly outside, yeah, in the mess of the rain and the drizzle. And we worked really hard of just redoing our pavers and over by the raised beds. It used to be a patio that we used, but we had changed it out when I hurt my knee. And yeah, we just really, they all needed redone. And oh my goodness, my husband did such a wonderful job. I was so pleased. And so, yeah, and let me think here. What else? Oh, I wanted to apologize for not putting out a video, which is my fault because we were doing something every single day and I just didn't even think about picking up and taking the camera with me. And so, yeah, I just didn't have anything to really, yeah, you know how that goes. But anyways, there is something I'm going to reach here that we had gone to the Dollar General. I needed to get a birthday card for my son. Yeah, my youngest son, Jonathan, turned 38 years old on Sunday. Yeah. So anyways, we I want to stop there and get a card, and lo and behold, there was this cute little bumblebee. He cost a whole dollar, and he clips on a plant holder. A pot. I mean, a plant. And I just thought he was adorable. So yeah, I had to get that to put on my little pot here. So anyways, yeah, that's about all that's going on here. And the devotion today is continuing on obedience. And I think that you're going to enjoy it. I think you'll be blessed by it. So anyways, we'll move on to that after I show you what we accomplished. Well, here we are, walking up to the raised beds that my husband had made for me last year since I had hurt my knees. So anyways, as you can see, I went ahead because we had all those extra stones from putting in the walkway. So I filled up all the holes with stones. But before I filled them totally, I actually cut little squares of ground cloth so that weeds couldn't grow in there, and then put stones on top. So I decided to do that because last year I thought I would be able to grow herbs and flowers and that, but that doesn't work at all because the plants as they grow, they block the sun and they just don't do well. So I just decided I didn't want weeds growing in there. So I just went ahead and just made it so that nothing can grow in there. But anyways, what my husband did is right here. He took up all these pavers, and he re-put them down, and he leveled everything, and he cleaned it all out, and then he put nice fresh sand down. So I am just so pleased. I just thought he did, which it's a back-breaking job, but he did such a wonderful, wonderful job. So anyways, if you look this way, and I'll go ahead and I'll turn here, and yeah, there's my bird feeders. But I got all this weeded, and this is probably about 12 feet from here to here, probably about 10 feet from there to the other side of that tree. Got all that weeded and taken care of. Got all this taken care of. This here is oregano here. I always put a pot right here of flowers, so that's why it's kind of like growing around what would be a pot. Isn't that kind of funny? But anyways, look at these flowers. Every single year, they're a little droopy because it's been so wet out here. Every single year, the bunnies eat the flowers off of it. But this year, they haven't. So that's a good thing. But anyways, as you can see up here, this is what we have to work on. And I got more dirt and things like that here. We've kind of like just been putting things here for now. But I think what we want to do here on this corner right there is get a lilac bush. I just think that would be really nice. It would smell beautiful in the springtime when we come out here. But it's this area in here. Not really sure what we can do. I'm not sure what we want to do. I do have the gas line coming at an angle here, and that is the pipe for the outdoor wood burner that goes into our basement. So we have to be careful on what we plant here, so not really sure what we're going to do. But then the other thing that we did, and you have to forgive us, we started to rain so much, we've just kind of left our weeds and that there, and our stones there. But anyways, over here, if you can see, my husband made these like dividers between the driveway that goes back to the wood where we store our wood for heating. And we still have to get one more on top, but only 12 would fit in our car, so he's got to go back and get more. But anyways, we went ahead and we built that as kind of a divider. Not really sure what to put in there. It goes all the way behind my swing here. So I'm not really sure what we can put in there. And he just had this extra block here, this extra piece of paver. It's a big one. It's a 2 feet by 2 foot one. And put it there, hoping the dogs would also use it instead of walking through the gardens. So far, that hasn't been successful. Hopefully, when we get this to be too high, they will use it. But if you have any suggestions on what I could put in there, I don't want to just put flowers in there that's going to die back, and then I have to replace them every year, because that gets to be very expensive. So yeah, I'm not really sure. Any suggestions would really be helpful. Devotion, we are going to be continuing on obedience. And obedience, it takes surrender. Now, I realize how difficult surrender can be. And without the Holy Spirit's indwelling, our hearts will be hard and they will be indifferent. Some of the things that keep us from surrendering to the Lord are fear, pride, laziness, selfishness, and even becoming impatient with God's timing. Likewise, being busy with personal ambitions and even concerned that we might be hearing God wrong, all can keep us from hearing God's voice. And it's things like these that keep us distracted, and they rob us and will keep us disoriented, unfocused, and confused. I believe that every true believer desires to hear God clearly. So let's look at what Jesus stated in John chapter 5, verse 30, and I am reading from the Amplified Version. I can do nothing on my own initiative or authority. Just as I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, fair, righteous, and unbiased, because I do not seek my own will, but only the will of Him who sent me. Notice what Jesus didn't seek and what He did seek. Clearly, Jesus was not ignoring the fact that He possessed a will of His own, yet He was committed to honoring His Father's will above it all. The defining characteristic of His life was that He was prepared to obey at all times. He was humble and available to do His Father's bidding over His own sentiments and ambitions as a man. You and I have our own will too, and that's normal. Our problem comes not from surrendering our will to the Father's all-perfect will, His all-wise will, and His all-good will. Most of us fear the loss of our hopes and our dreams, our ambitions. Should we ever submit ourselves to the Father's will, we imagine them being crushed and discarded, never to be fulfilled. Honoring God's directives will indeed require adjustments on our part, but it will never leave us lacking. The will that is submitted to Him is not extinguished. It is simply surrendered. It becomes like clay in the potter's hand, soft and pliable and moldable. We are, or we become, the raw material for a masterpiece made by Him. We don't lose. We win. Have you ever been concerned about losing yourself if you surrender completely to God? I know I was. I remember asking the Lord, what about Patti? What happens to me? I couldn't seem to wrap my head around the whole thing. Yet surrender is the key. We must stand and position ourselves to be obedient. That's how the door flings open for His voice to be heard and His will to be accomplished. We learned in the last devotion in Psalms 32:8 that the Lord says to those of His children who freely submit their wills to His, that He will instruct them and teach them in the way they should go, and that He will counsel them, and His eye is upon them. Now, I put that in the plural. You'll find that in Psalms 32:8, that it's personal. I also said that facing up to this issue of obedience, is the Alpha and the Omega of how we hear from God. That obedience isn't just one of the keys, that it is the key that unlocks all the blessings that God intends for us. So I want you to hold a key in your mind's eye and picture this key being like any other key you've ever seen or used before. Because this key that you are going to visualize in your hand is going to be big and shiny and maybe even have a few jewels on it, because this is the key that is able to unlock something that you have never experienced before. And this key is unique, and it's only for you. For it is God's specific assignment and calling exclusively made for you. But it's your choice to receive this key, and it's your choice to take seriously the privilege of using it, for only you can make the commitment to use your key. If that is your desire, then let God search you. As we're told in Psalms 26:2, examine me, prove me, O Lord, and try me. Test my heart and my mind. Then ask the Father to reveal what might be keeping you from totally surrendering to Him in every area and every part of your life. Ask Him to reveal any hardened and calloused places in your heart. This will require some courage and some tenacity, And even without full clarity as to what the Lord may ask you to do or how he may instruct you to use it now or maybe in the future, it's up to you to make that choice to say, yes, Lord. For this is the key of obedience that will unlock all that the Father intends for you. Now, don't expect to wake up tomorrow morning and do everything perfectly and know your Father's will. That isn't how it works. This obedience thing takes time. Time for God to show you the areas in your life and in your heart and in your attitude. Time for the Lord to expose things to you that you may not even realize are there. Remember from our previous devotion what Psalms 32:8 tells us. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you who are willing to learn. My eye upon you. For this key of obedience is a willing heart and a will purposefully set to live for Christ. God bless. I hope this has helped you, and we'll be continuing our lesson on obedience in our next devotion.